What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And I've recently swapped the 392 over to 38s, and I didn't really make a video talking about swapping to 38s because, yeah, big deal, it was on 37s when we went off-road. I still run the factory 35s when I'm on the street, but again, off-road I would bolt on the 37s. I've even got a previous video talking about that suspension setup, and it works really well, but we've made a few changes here to accommodate 38s. And I finally, again, got to go wheeling for the first time with the 38s. And again, I didn't want to make a video talking about the setup without actually testing it off-road to confirm it works. But yeah, boy, it works really, really good. Goodness gracious, it flexes well. We don't have much rub. We'll talk about that here in a second. But this is, again, a budget or cheap suspension setup to fit those 38s and be able to have good travel, and again, have them flex up as much as possible without ripping off all the fenders. So what we're going to do today is we are going to pull off a front wheel, we're going to pull off a rear wheel, and then we're actually going to look at the parts that are installed. I'm going to explain why they're on there and what we need to do. Now, this doesn't just apply to 392s, but this would apply to any Xtreme Recon or Xtreme 35 package Jeep. Now, why does it only apply to those? Because those have the factory 1.5-inch lift, and they have longer bump stops from the factory. So this could all be translated over to a non-Xtreme Recon or Xtreme 35 Jeep, but you would need to add more lift and add more bump stop. And I will need to go over and probably measure Dad's factory bump stops, and then I can kind of explain in on how much additional you'd need to kind of help with that tire fitment. But this Jeep sitting roughly with 3 inches of lift right now, and those 38. So let me pull a front and a rear off, and let's actually go under and talk about what we've got installed right now and why it works really, really good. All right, guys, we've got our tire off up here in the front, and let's talk about what parts we've got installed here. Now, ignore the Bilstein 8100 for right now because that is not a required part of this equation. Let's now talk about springs. This is a factory, in this case, a 392 Xtreme 35 Xtreme Recon spring here in the front. This is the spring the vehicle came with. But what we are doing to get a little bit more lift, a little bit more ground clearance, etc., we've got the TerraFlex 1.5-inch little spacer kit. This is actually for a Gladiator. This is a 1-inch spacer here, and then there is a little 1/2-inch spacer here at the top. So total, we've got an 1.5-inch spring spacer on top of the factory 1.5-inch spring, if that makes sense. So total 3 inches over a normal Rubicon, if you will. So that is the extent of our spring setup. Now, bump stops needed for those 38s. The only thing in the front that we're going to need, since the Xtreme Recon, Xtreme 35, whatever you want to call it, the factory bump stop tower is outrageously long, like way long, like incredibly long. These are basically correct length for 37. So again, if you were just running 37s, you would need to add no additional bump stops and it would be absolutely perfect. But with the 38s, I went ahead and added a 1/2-inch TerraFlex bump stop pad extension down here. You can see it bolted in place right there. There's my little Allen-headed flat hardware holding that in the factory kind of location here at the bottom. That little 1/2-inch spacer is all we need to prevent those 38s from traveling too far up into the wheel well. Now, let's take a look here in our wheel well. We do have some scratch rub marks here from those 38s, but it is insanely minimal. As you guys can see, we just have some scratching or marks there. We maybe have one here. It's kind of hard to tell. So we are really correctly bump stopped with just that little 1/2-inch spacer. That just kind of tells you how overly long those factory bump stop towers are on these Jeeps. Now, we do have the added Mopar 2-inch lift lower control arms. These are about a 1/4 inch lower, which helps rotate that axle forward and gain back some caster that's lost when vehicles are lifted. Even without a lift or without any added spacer on an Xtreme Recon XR vehicle, those are an absolute cheap investment to have the Jeep drive considerably nicer. So absolutely add that to your list, even again, if you are not adding any more lift to your XR Xtreme 35 Jeep. Now, up front here for sway bar end links, because we are gonna want a little bit longer sway bar end link with our added lift height, is the Mopar 2-inch lift front sway bar links. These are the links that come with that Mopar lift, and they get you just about perfect. We've got just a little bit of an upward angle there on that sway bar sitting here at ride height. So pretty much perfect there. Now for shocks, what this setup was originally running on was the factory rear shock. So this is the factory rear XR shock. Again, unbolted off the rear, moved to the front. It worked really well. The extended and collapsed length, again, worked really perfectly with my 37-inch setup and now the 38-inch setup. It did everything it needed to do, but I finally splurged on some Bilstein 8100s only for the bling factor. I did want a little more dampening, a little more control on the big heavy 392, and I do think I got that with those 8100s there. So that was just kind of a splurge, if you will. The setup still would have worked absolutely great with that factory rear shock bolted onto the front, and that required no modification, no drilling, no cutting. That shock goes right on the front from the rear of the Jeep. So that is the extent of the front. Couple of spacers, some control arms, bump stop pad, sway bar end links, and you've got a perfect setup. Now, moving to the rear, it's going to be kind of the same story here. In the rear for our springs, again, these are factory springs, but up top we've got a TerraFlex 1.5 inch spring spacer. It is a nice spring spacer. It bolts in place, so you don't have to worry about it walking around and moving on you when you're off road. So that is the extent of that rear spring spacer. Now, moving to our bump stops, that's a little bit more of a complicated story. An XR Jeep comes originally with these 1-inch rear bolt-on bump stop spacer or bump stop extensions here that bolt to the axle side of the vehicle. When I moved to 37s, these got removed and Mopar 2-inch rear bump stop extensions got added. So that's what we can see here is this is just the Mopar lift kit. They're cheap and easy to order online. Again, a 2-inch, it's just square tubing. It's not very fancy. And that again was perfect for those 37s. Now moving to the 38s, I did add, as you can see, we've got a 1/2 inch TerraFlex bump stop extension, again, added underneath that Mopar 2-inch spacer. So removing the 1-inch and adding 2.5 inches equals a total of 1.5 inches of added rear bump stop spacer or pad. So that is the extent of that. And again, with those now 38s, again, you can just kind of barely see those scratchy rub marks in the inner fenders. If you were to do a fender cut, a fender chomp, whatever, you would again have even more clearance here than what we've got here, and you could probably start removing some of the bump stop extensions there on the bottom. Again, in the front, if you were fender cut, you would have no reason to add that 1/2 inch pad there. Now, moving to our rear sway bar links, you got a couple options here. This is the factory rear XR rear sway bar link. All I've done is relocate the mounting point from here and moved it up about an inch. Just re-drilled a 1/2 inch hole, bolted it all back in with the factory hardware, the factory sway bar link. I think we can get a better look here on the other side. Yeah, you can see what we've moved there on the rear. Now guys, the other option would obviously just be getting extended rear sway bar links. You could order the Mopar 2-inch lift rear links. Those would work perfectly. But like I said, these moving them up an inch or so on the factory tab makes everything clear fine, even under full droop. The sway bar's not hitting the shock body. It just works. So again, a free mod there in the back to just relocate that rear sway bar end link. Now in the rear on shocks, what I was running with my 37-inch setup is the Metal Cloak Rock Sport rear. These are the long travel, not the extra long or super long, whatever they call them. These are like the 30-inch extended travel shocks. And again, this setup worked totally fine. I had really good collapse and extended length. Again, those work totally fine. And these things are like dirt cheap. It's, I believe, like 200 bucks for the set of two. Last time I looked on the website, but yeah, 200 bucks for a set of long travel shocks. And then, like I said, we moved the factory rear shocks up to the front and got more down travel. But again, like in the front, I did splurge and picked up those rear Reservoir 8100s. And again, just for a little more dampening, a larger piston size, a little more fluid volume, and at the end of the day, they look cool because they are 8100 Bilsteins back there. And I have been, again, very happy with the ride quality, the dampening, all of that, even on the non-adjustable versions like I've got. So guys, with all of that said, you can understand why that's such a cheap or affordable setup. We've got some TerraFlex spacers, we've got a couple of sway bar end links, some Mopar lower control arms, and all of these things are pretty darn affordable in the world of suspension. Even those rear Rock Sport shocks are, again, dirt cheap in the world of shocks. Now, the one thing you can't really get around in, again, the world of moving to 38s is the cost of tires. These were not cheap. The 38 1350 R17 Nitto Trail Grapplers, but I just badly wanted to move to a name brand tire versus my cheap Chinese tires that I had been previously running, just to see if, you know, more traction. Is there more traction in the name brand tire? And unfortunately, I changed two variables on our trip. You know, I went from a 37 to a 38 and moved from my cheap tires to a real name brand Nitto. And the thing had way, way, way more grip. And again, was it because of moving to a 38, or was it a combination of the 38 and a properly compounded, properly made tire? I kind of think it's probably both, but these Nitto 1350s are a wide tire. Now, for the wheel, we are sitting on a factory XR wheel. This is the older XR wheel, which I really do like. That's what I've got set up for my off-road wheels, but these are from the factory an 8-inch wide wheel. And that's a little bit kind of narrow for a 1350. Now, a lot of guys, I'm sure, will just go to an aftermarket wheel, but I really like the OEM Plus look. So what we've got here is the OMF beadlock rings. Now, these are rings for the factory XR wheels. Like I said, OMF makes these things, multiple finishes, a couple of different ring designs, and God, they're freaking cool. And the biggest benefit, the main reason why I wanted to run them, because of, again, moving them to a beadlock style, but you are now moving the tire bead to the outside of the face of the wheel. So you're gaining 3/4 of an inch of wheel width. So now this 8-inch wide wheel is 8 3/4 inches wide, which absolutely is beneficial with that 1350 wide tire. I am running these things at about 28 PSI on the street, and that's pretty much getting them to lay flat on the road. I maybe have a little bit of the outside tread block that still isn't quite touching the road on the rear, maybe a little bit more since there is a little more or a little less weight in the rear. So guys, that's a setup. And like I said, I didn't want to really talk about it or do anything, a video on it until we actually got to go wheeling. And like I said, goodness gracious, it worked really well. All right, guys, so I actually got a chance to measure a normal JL compared to an Xtreme Recon or Xtreme 35 package, so I could kind of better tell you guys bump stop lengths. So a Xtreme Recon Xtreme 35 Jeep has 7¼ inch front bump stop tower length versus a normal Wrangler has 5¼ So we are missing 2 inches of bump stop tower on a non-factory 35 Jeep. So in the front, to correctly clear those 38s, again with those high fenders, you're gonna need a total of 2½ inches of additional front bump stop pad added. So where I was just able to add the 1/2 inch spacer, a non-Xtreme Recon would need 2½ inches added in the front to prevent those 38s from ripping off the fenders. On the rear, the bump stop pad on a Xtreme 35 package Jeep is 1 1/8 inches above the axle tube versus just like an 1/8 inch or basically nothing on a normal JL. Now keep in mind, these from the factory have a 1 inch pad bolted on. So removing that 1 inch pad and me adding 2½ inches basically means on a normal Wrangler, you would need 3½ inches of rear bump stop extension or bump stop pad, whatever you want to say there, again, in the rear to correctly bump stop 38s. Now, all of this said is with, again, roughly 3 inches of lift on your normal Wrangler. This being an Xtreme 35 package vehicle has, again, roughly about 1.5 inches of lift plus my 1.5 inch spacers. So all in all, again, with a Xtreme 35 package Jeep, again, we've added a 1/2 inch in the front. If you're not, you would have 2½ inches in the front of bump stop addition. In the rear, again, you would need to add 3½ on a non-XR Xtreme 35 package Jeep, or if you are a Xtreme 35 package Jeep, again, if you're removing that 1 inch, you would be adding a total of 2½. So a lot of numbers, but hopefully that kind of clears things up if you are or are not an Xtreme 35 package vehicle. But guys, all of these little parts even added up are outrageously cheaper than going with a multi-$1,000 lift from any of those big names. Now, yes, I'm sure they're going to ride good, they're going to drive good, but there's something to be said about the factory spring rates on ride quality and handling and all of that. It just still rides and drives very, very similar to stock. Now, some of you guys with, racks on the roof and, a whole overland setup in the back, yeah, you're probably gonna want a heavier spring. You're gonna wanna be able to help support some of that weight. So this little cheap setup with just some spring spacers probably isn't gonna do it for you. But this Jeep, which is relatively lightweight, if I can call a 392 lightweight, we've got factory metal bumper in the front with a winch on it, and yeah, that's it. We don't have any other big heavy things on it. Again, this setup works really good, again, with those factory springs. So let me know if you've got a similar setup. Are you wanting to run 38s or what? The other big issue with 38s is gearing. And again, if you're a factory XR or Xtreme 35, you luckily have those 456 gears in your axles from the factory, which will make it considerably happier moving down the road. So guys, like I said, I just was very excited to show you the new setup, show you the bump stops, all the little parts and pieces which make these 38s seemingly work really, really well. So guys, thanks for coming out into the driveway with me today and talking about a bunch of parts and pieces that will hopefully make your Jeep a little bit better if you are planning on something large like that in the future. And guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.